Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 623, and we're going to be talking about free WordPress themes and whether they're costing your business money or what happens with those. I know we all love a good freebie, especially when we're building a website. A free WordPress theme can feel like a gift. You plug it in, pick your colors, and boom, you've got a site. But here's the question: what if that free theme is actually costing you customers? I'm going to talk about free themes. I certainly don't want to dunk on them because I have seen some really great free themes out there, but I do want to mention some of the things I've seen around it and why you might want to consider actually paying for a premium theme, doing something rather than just choosing a free theme out of the repository. And there are some hidden costs to free, of course. Just remember that free is not always free. There is always a cost to it. A lot of free themes will lock you into a single layout or color scheme. It might sound fine at first, but it stops you from expressing your brand's personality. If your theme looks like hundreds of others using the same theme, you lose that visual connection that builds the trust. That's the first thing I want to say is, and as website owners, I don't expect you to know how to get in and change a style sheet or change a customization so that you can change colors of things. Sometimes the customizations, and we are talking about a product that in the last 16 years has gone from strength to strength to strength. Customizing a theme nowadays isn't so difficult as having to get in and change CSS files all the time. You do have a customization panel, but you still sometimes have to get into the CSS files, the cascading style sheets where you define what the colors are and what the fonts are and all those things and change them. So yeah, you've got that limited customization. It can be annoying. It can be frustrating, and if it makes you look like everyone else, yeah, it's a problem. Slow performance. Some of these themes come bloated. They've got unnecessary code, demo content. They've got their own plugins, and that they've written their own plugins that they've got in them that you may never use. You may never use any of that functionality, but it all comes with this theme and it does all these things. Which, okay, cool, it does all these things, but if you're not going to use it, all of that extra stuff, all of that extra bloat, the code, the content, it slows your site down, and slow sites will kill conversions. I've spoken about this previously. It says, in my notes here, it says, Google research shows that 1 second delay can reduce conversions by 7%. That's amazing. That's really high. One of the other things we've noticed, and it's not, like I said, as we move on, things are getting better, but a lot of these themes, or some of these themes, have poor mobile optimization. They look fine on a desktop, but once you start to get down on a mobile, they don't look so good. They're harder to determine and say, look, I don't want this to show on the mobile. I only want these parts to just show on the mobile. The designer themselves has made a value decision as to what should appear on the mobile layout. So you can hide things. If the display is this, don't show these blocks. And that's written into the code. So you can't say, yes, I want that. No, I want that. No, don't put that. Apart from that, buttons can shrink, text overlaps, menus disappear. It really can be quite frustrating. Lack of support is the next thing. Now, again, I don't want to dunk on free themes because there are some wonderful ones out there and people do some wonderful work with it. But often when something breaks, who do you call? With a free theme, it's sometimes, more often than not, there's no one you can go back to. You got it out of the repository. It says go to their website. Their website no longer exists or doesn't have a forum or doesn't have a contact button. You can't fix it. You can't get it fixed. So you're stuck trying to fix it yourself using Google or ChatGPT, or you need to come to someone like me who can help you after the fact. Now, that typically costs you more than if you just invested in a supported theme, in a premium theme from the start, because I then have to reverse engineer what was done. I have to work out where the problem is, and I need to then move it forward. If we are working with premium themes, there's normally great documentation. And when I say premium themes, I mean one that you pay for and one that is supported. You've got great documentation. You've got a support desk you can go to. You've got people you can talk to about it. Hidden branding and links. This is the last point that I wanted to make in this section here. Hidden branding and links. Some themes include footer credits and hidden links promoting the developer. Not only do they look unprofessional, but it will hurt your SEO if those links point to shady sites. And sometimes, you don't want to be promoting someone else. Yes, they gave it to you for free. Yeah, whether you should be doing that or not is another matter. Linking to back to your own site is another matter. That said, when I do sites for people, I always put a little credit in the footer for the sites that I build. If the client asks me to take it out, yes, I take it out. Most clients are happy to do it because that's the relationship we have. Let's talk about user experiences and the problems that they can have. Inconsistent design. Some themes mix the fonts, the colors, and the styles, and they all clash. That inconsistency makes visitors subconsciously distrust your brand. Cohesive design, a design that looks at these are how the colors work. This color is used in these areas. It means these things. It builds confidence. Chaotic design actually erodes it. Some free themes have really poorly structured navigation and menus. They're they're just hard to find. If that happens, users just leave. They're not going to try and work their way through your site. They just leave. A great theme, and by theme, remember we're talking about the look and the feel and the way things are organized within the layout of the site. A great theme normally has intuitive navigation that guides people to take actions and not hunt for the basic information. Accessibility. I've spoken about accessibility recently, actually. Some of them just don't have proper accessibility standards. If someone uses a screen reader or keyboard navigation and they can't use their site, you're excluding a portion of your audience. How big that is, I don't know, but you are excluding a portion of your audience. You may also be breaking some laws in some regions. I can't address that specifically except to say you need to be aware of it. Some free themes, like you notice I keep saying some free themes, haven't been updated in years, and they can make your site feel like it's stuck in 2010. They just feel outdated, they feel tired, they feel old, and sometimes the widgets, the plugins, the little bits and pieces they put in break. And they break because you upgrade the version of WordPress and that feature no longer exists in this theme now. We've got to go back to an older version of WordPress, which then leaves you open to security issues. You upgrade the version of PHP, or you don't. Your hosting provider upgrades the version of PHP on your site to be secure, to make sure that you are secure and you don't have open holes in the actual hosting of your site. And your site stops working because the theme uses very old code. So outdated features is another one. Unclear call to actions. I actually hadn't considered this. Free themes are normally done to have that gloss, that initial gloss of, gee, doesn't this look pretty? But when you get into it, creating layouts, creating pages that have call to actions in them that help you drive people to where you're going to make money or get them on your list or to where they can take an action isn't top of mind. So conversion buttons are hard. They're hard to put on. They're normally buried under messy layouts. A good theme will make it easy for you to make call to action pages, landing pages, if you like, to add buttons in and make sure that they stand out, to add call to actions in and make sure that they are focusable. Like, it drives the visitor's focus, not focusable as in, you can focus on it, but drives the visitor's attention so that it moves them to taking the next step. So am I saying you should buy a premium theme? Yeah, I am, actually. Am I saying that maybe you should, sorry, I've just got something falling down here. There we go. Am I saying that maybe you should look at investing in a decent page builder? Yes, I am. There's a lot to go into it, but if you look at the ROI of actually buying a premium theme, it might cost you $50 to $100. It might cost you $50 a year to maintain. You get all the updates. If PHP updates, you can almost guarantee that there's going to be an update come out for that theme, and it will just take into consideration all of that. You don't have to worry about it breaking the site. If it does get broken, you normally have support. You can go back and ask them to help you. A well-built premium theme, and I am going to say that in the dim old days, when I were a lass, some of those themes were still bulky and they didn't load very quickly and they had a lot of stuff, and the UX, the user experience, was not great. But that's been resolved as developers have matured and they've worked out that, getting paid to do things actually means that they can do more for you. That gets itself sorted out. Consider using lightweight builders, as I said, page builders. Elementor. I don't like recommending Elementor. I feel that it's still a little bloated. They have got a lot better in the last 6 months, though, I've noticed. I use Thrive Themes. I'm going to actually put the Thrive Themes link in the details here. Bricks is another one. I haven't had a good look at Bricks, but Bricks has come up in the last year or so, and they give you a lot of flexibility without bloated code. You can customize your site efficiently and keep it loading really, really fast. So I would actually recommend choosing either a basic theme and then using a builder like Elementor or something like Elementor or Thrive to do your design on top of it. The other thing to consider when you are choosing a theme and you're choosing how to design your site is don't just make it pretty, design with intent. You need to choose layout, colors, typography that actually appeal to your audience. They need to speak to your audience's needs and emotions. A clean, purposeful design is far more powerful than a flashing one. I've already mentioned security and updates. Premium themes will come with regular updates and security patches. I don't know how many sites I get called into because WordPress is updated and a theme has failed, and I've had to go through, and that's where you make the decision. Do we just redesign the site and use a page builder like Thrive Themes, like Elementor, and recreate the design they've got in something more modern? Or do I go through and find all the function calls and update those? Now, sometimes that's possible, and I do that. And then sometimes it's like, no, this is going to take too much. It's going to take you too long. We just need to ditch this theme and put something new on. We can make it look the same, but we need to update the theme. When should you hire someone like me? At some point, this DIY do-it-yourself phase should end. If your site is your main sales channel, bringing in someone like me can transfer it from fine to fantastic. Think of it as hiring someone to build your digital storefront, because that's exactly what it is. So yeah, look, sometimes it's just easier to bring someone like me in and say, hey, we want it to look like this, make it happen. And then you can go and focus on what brings the money in through the doors for you, or you've got someone in your corner. I keep saying this, someone in your corner. I'm there. I'm your, what was I called the other day? Your insurance policy. I can make things happen for you. I can keep them running. I work with you and try to keep it as cost effective so that you get a result, I get a result. My success is based on your success. Is your free WordPress theme secretly costing your customers or money? Maybe more than you think. Unless you're measuring it, you don't really know, but maybe more than you think. I think that it's probably raising your risk profile, and that's more of a concern to me. Are you raising your risk profile in that you aren't as secure as you think you are? Are you raising your risk profile in that it's not supportable, so one change and everything is going to fall in a heap? I'm not trying to catastrophize this. These are experiences that I've had. These are the experiences that I get. By bringing someone in, by paying for a premium theme, paying for that support, bringing someone in who can help you support it, it's going to take a lot of that risk. It's going to take a lot of that unexpected cost out of your world, out of your equation. What do you think, guys? I don't sort of, like I said, I don't want to dunk on free themes because I've seen some lovely ones. I've seen some really well done ones. The problem is that they're free. And how does the designer, how does the builder make their money? How do they get paid to keep that running? They need to have something coming in to be able to maintain it, to be able to keep it updated, to be able to do all of those things. Some very talented people out there, and kudos to them for doing this and making it out there. But if you're going to run your business, if it was a personal site, it's probably not such an issue. But if you're running a business, you really need to think about all of those risks that I highlighted and how you mitigate them, what they mean to you and how you mitigate them. You notice I talk a lot about risk when we're doing this. It's like there's no clean cut, you should do this or you should do that. Sometimes I might feel like saying that, but it's all about risk. It's all about how much risk are you prepared to wear? What would be the cost of something to you if the worst happens? And how do you mitigate that down to something that you're prepared to wear, you're prepared to accept? What do you guys think? How many of you are running your sites on free WordPress themes still? How many of you are still using free plugins, free page builders, all of that stuff that goes along with it? And how, not only that in terms of who's still doing it and what problems have you had doing it, but how much time do you spend trying to work out how to do something in it when you could pay a smaller fee or a smallish fee? Some of them aren't smallish fees, I will admit that, and say, I've just taken 10 hours of my time and dropped it down to 1. So you're saving 9 hours of your time. Do you think of it in those terms? I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, have I asked more questions here than I've answered? I always like to ask that question too. Come across to my community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can join the conversation there. You can leave comments. I had to think about that for a minute. You can leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. I will respond to them eventually. If this video was useful to you, if this episode was useful to you, please like the video, maybe share this with someone who needs to hear it as well. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And I will see you guys the day after tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.